Like, I don't need any fucking halfway friends, man.
Seems like a bit of an overreaction.
Not really. CPS was called on his children. Maybe you should have made yourself aware of that.
He did a content nuke, and I didn't cover it because it's just fucking crazy, dude.
This is the biggest problem with your video, then.
A+.
Ethan couldn't go without the world knowing that he got a 10 out of 10 rating, so he repeatedly flaunted it, which made him look psychopathic.
It made him look psychopathic. It's not just cringe. He's a psychopath.
Apparently, Denims, I don't know if this is true, I'm not gonna fact check it.
I'm gonna watch the Idubbbz video, and I'm gonna pretty much take all of it as fact. Any criticism, though, I'm pretty much just not gonna fact check it.
A fucking lot of people hate H3H3 nowadays, like everybody. A lot of people are kind of coming together on that.
Oompaville made this incredibly terrible video because he felt it was safe, and he didn't realize that the narrative is starting to shift and people are realizing that Ethan is actually correct, and so he deleted it, and then he cried about it and made it seem like everybody else was a loser except for him. Alright guys, we're gooning again to more H3 Idubbbz, because why not? You know, the window's small. This is probably the last day or so of the window, which is fine with me. I'm ready to move on to other stuff, but I'm still interested in this, and Oompaville reacted to the Idubbbz hit piece against Ethan, the content cop. And then he deleted it very quickly. I find the video interesting, like his, excuse me, not his video. I haven't seen it yet. I find his post interesting. Remove today's video. Why? Because I felt like it. I'm going to start doing that more. I'm married. I can do whatever I want. Okay. Also, a lot of people expected a lot of research and taking it very seriously, and I can't do that while maintaining a positive mental state and touching grass and remaining employed. So I'm sorry. I don't know what that means because, like, his content is terminally online. So is mine. You're telling me that you don't want to be terminally online looking at Talk Tua? You know what I mean? Like, you could have been like, listen, I didn't want to get into the depths of it. I didn't understand how deep it went. I'm not interested. That's fine. But you're like, oh, I'm not terminally online, bro. Adam 22 drama. Elon Musk's wife situation. This is all terminally online content. All of this is terminally online content. So stop pretending. All right. You like to do very shallow videos on things without really like looking into them deeply. And that's fine. And you were out of your element, especially since this is like drama, but it's a little important. Or a little more serious. You know, it's about Ethan's CPS calls, like on his children. Like, that's horrible. Like, that's pretty terrible stuff. Like, false CPS calls. So, you know, it's okay to just be like, listen, it's a little too much for me to really get myself ingrained into, so I took it down. But say, I actually want to touch grass. Okay. A famous YouTuber is married to a famous TikToker. You guys probably don't. You guys are probably very online, and that's fine. But, like, knock it off with the condescension, you know? Anyway, let's see the video, man, from Oompaville. Let's do it. Oh, quirky. Whoa.
Anyways, this is a crazy one, all right? We're talking about the latest iteration of Content Cop, which has been dead for a long time, very long time, and this version of Content Cop is about H3, H3H3.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to keep saying it, missed opportunity. We watched Idubbbz have a meltdown about how he's not relevant anymore. He could have came back, and he could have sat here, and he could have done, he could have done Asmongold, and it would have been great. That really couldn't put him back on the map, too. Like, if he did an Asmongold one, I think I would have been like, oh, man, that's really good. We don't love Asmongold. We think Asmongold's not a great guy. It's a really good thing that he did Asmongold. Said we get H3. Kind of ridiculous. Just being honest with you. Kind of missed the mark on that one.
Idubbbz, long ancient YouTube history. There's a lot to go over.
Wakey, Ethan.
Wakey, wakey, dude.
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up.
One very important note is...
What a waste, too, because you want to know what's so funny about the whole Idubbbz thing? I watched some of his political videos, and they weren't really that bad. Idubbbz political videos were actually kind of decent. And if he had just stuck to those and, like, instead of going after Ethan and doing this petty, dumb dog shit, I think he could have put himself in a nice spot. You know? It's disappointing because I thought his political stuff was decent, personally.
Is that we're operating only through the context of clips on how Ian portrays them in his video. We are taking the time to go through, but it would take many...
Well, I mean, that's fair, though.
Ethan, wake up, Ethan, wake up.
One very important note is that we're operating only through the context of clips on how Ian portrays them in his video.
I feel like that's kind of a fair disclaimer for this video. He's literally admitting to us, like, he has no idea what he's talking about. And, like, I don't know, like, I can respect that. Like, hey, listen, I'm not super informed, and I'm letting you know that. you know, I do kind of respect that.
We are taking the time to go through, but it would take many more days to go through and find old streams from both Hasan and H3 to find the full context for moments that Ian edited down to make things more concise for his video. So that's not a critique or anything that...
I don't think Ian edited anything down. I think that other people gave him this information, but I understand what you're saying.
It's truly just an acknowledgement of a potential lack of context here. Or full context, I guess. There's always a possibility that things aren't in full, and that's just how the internet works. Now, on May 18th, 2023...
I will say there, it's like you're insinuating that these are clips to be trusted, but they're not. Then why make the video? I will say, like, I can appreciate somebody who's like, listen, I just want to check this out, but I don't really know the full story. I'm okay with that fundamentally. I'm not gonna lie. I am okay with that fundamentally. I kind of like I get it, you know. I think it's generally fine, but you have to be much more, you know, careful when you're doing your videos.
Idubbbz made a video talking about the state of his channel and his career and how he moved from the type of content he used to create and needed to shift to keep up with the new and changing times, like making squirrel videos. That was this edgy videos out, squirrel content was in.
I'm stupid and I really need to like acknowledge these things. Like what am
I love edgy squirrel videos, dude. Squirrels are hot. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
I doing? I'm still trying to make excuses for myself and like, you know, why I made that video. It's like, it was a dumb idea. I harassed someone. I was saying slurs and I was trying to justify it all.
So in order for him...
I mean, yeah, I don't know if there was all harassment though. Like, I just feel, whatever. We've talked about this a million times about how he's like overreacted to it, but...
To fulfill this, he went on a soul-searching journey to realize and apologize for...
This is the video. This here. I think, was it Cat Black that talked to him? I don't remember who talked to him.
For all of his evil, horrible content cop mistakes.
I had a very Wild West mentality when it came to online behavior. Like, people are going to do what they want to do. People are going to say what they want to say. And I can pretty much do the same because it's the internet. But I think you have to be a lot more responsible.
I don't know, man. I feel like this whole like Idubbbz apology tour thing was like, he really wanted good boy points. I really thought he was looking for people to be like, oh my God, you're such a good guy now. It's like, you know, not for nothing. People change, man. It's not that hot of a take. It's pretty normal shit. Like,
if you guys are at all interested in how I've arrived here, that video gives, you know, a good bit of context and talks about some of my life a little bit.
All the content cops that were posted to his channel would be unlisted and hidden away from prying eyes in order to change his persona for the better. So they weren't available publicly, I guess, but the links would be dropped in a Google Doc for anyone to click and enjoy, but not available on the channel front and center. I personally really liked content cops a lot. I thought they were great. I like mean commentary. I like it when people are really mean to each other. It's fun.
Yeah, I really just feel like he could have just been like, listen, it's not me anymore, so I'm gonna leave him up, but I've moved on. I mean, like, that's expected. You're getting older, of course. I don't think it's a big deal.
Fun, it's really entertaining, and it's kind of what makes life interesting. Especially on the internet, because it's not real. You know, it's just like...
Well, I don't even think that. I think that the people he would talk about are generally kind of bad people, so... I mean, I haven't watched them more recently, so maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like they weren't exactly like the fucking tip at the top here.
It's just fun. Just all in good fun.
YouTube's your boy Reggie Reg. You don't need to clock to know what time it is. What up, party people in the place to be? It's your boy C Snacks.
What's up, people? What it be?
Let me tell you something. I fucking see Snacks all the time. I see Snacks all the time.
Me too. Happy Man Snacks back again with a new review.
Hey, what's going on, party people?
Bro, the reason I think that Ian is jealous is because I watched that that entire conversation that he had with that therapist, and he comes off as like super jealous of Ethan. It's very strange to me. It's like, it's kind of like unhinged, to be honest with you.
It's your boy Snack Dubs back again with another legit food review. I get that they want to excite their audience, all right? They want to build anticipation, they want to create suspense, but there's only so much suspense you can create for a fucking fast food review.
The response to Ian's reflection left a very bad taste in his fans' mouths, and the move away
Hey, don't be hating on the food reviews, bro.
from the content that made him popular enraged the online community and left him very open to a lot of different criticism and attacks. I can definitely put myself in Ian's shoes back in the olden days when I put down the Ouya and started playing Amazing Frog. Does anybody get that reference? I don't even understand that. However, after Ian's big change, his viewership started to decline and the harsh reality of his audience shifting was hitting him. It was wild. It was a tumultuous time for YouTube. And don't get me wrong, he was doing okay. He was like streaming and doing some other stuff, hanging out with his wife or girlfriend or whatever at the time. But he wasn't on top of the world as a big time epic influencer, which everybody knows that's the most important thing about making content is having millions of views.
True. Actually, this is a kind of a really good point so far. I don't know. So far the video is actually decent. Yeah, I think that that's probably a huge thing that he struggles with, and it's kind of unnecessary. Because Ethan, listen, like when we look back at it, and this isn't to glaze Ethan, because even when I wasn't a fan of Ethan, even when I was like not happy with him in the direction he was going, I would always say the same thing about how like he is very successful. He did a good job. So like they look at Ethan, he decided to make a new channel and do a podcast. And that was a really good way to just change the flow of what he was doing. It worked out really well. It was intelligent. It was smart. I feel like Idubbbz should have tried to follow suit to some extent. Maybe made a new channel and done something else. I mean, it's a little bit kind of too little too late now, I think, but you get what I'm saying. And try to produce some like entertaining content. But I think one of the biggest problems is, and something that could be very frustrating as a content creator, and even for me, like I was never as big as them, but I was very popular on TikTok, is when you get like less views, it can really kind of, it's just upsetting. Like, it's not even like, this is just upsetting. I get less views, it's upsetting. It's like, oh, I'm getting less views, this is upsetting to me. But it's so funny because less views for Ian is still a lot of money. And like even fewer views for me, like, you know, my low points are, you know, I'm very privileged, are higher than like a lot of people's high points. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like relative to where he's at, like he was really doing well. And if he had just kind of kept on and put work into something, I think he could have built something pretty solid and stable, even if it wasn't necessarily as successful as Ethan's shit. And it also takes time to figure yourself out. It takes a long time to figure out exactly how you want to do stuff. And even when you think you figured it out, you didn't. So.
And being really rich. That's like the thing that you have to, that's like the thing that makes it all worthwhile. So, you know.
Give me that money, baby.
He was right though. The shame that plagued him from the edgy side of YouTube couldn't survive on the platform anymore. You can't say the N-word on YouTube. You could, I guess. Some people do. People have grown up. A lot of people have grown up, especially
Black people do.
People who were watching those videos back then, and so many of his friends had already shifted their content into other things to fit in. The old Idubbbz was dead.
Well, do you think they did it to fit in, or do you think they did it because like they wanted to shift because they were a little, like they wanted to be, maybe they're just, it's not. When I hear like fit in, there's almost like a negative twang to it. But I look at people and go like, oh, they wanted it to change a little bit. It's like not that, it's not like a bad thing to necessarily want to change.
A shadow of himself. He did the whole Creator Clash thing. That was pretty cool. I think there's another one. What we do here is go back.
Well, actually, that was his other thing, was Creator Clash, wasn't it? And then he kind of fucked himself on that. That's the thing. Like even with this, I mean, he really did kind of fuck himself. I feel like going to fucking war with Ethan before Creator Clash is not helping him at all in the slightest. But
man, Idubbbz was dead basically until a couple days ago, April 16th, 2025, when an upload hit my homepage titled Content Cop. And the topic of the Content Cop was Ian's once friend, Ethan Klein, aka H3H3, old man, 2 kids, white.
Got that English accent on that one.
Old guy. Now, he's an old man now, pretty much. He's like an old guy. He looks like an old person. He still makes videos on YouTube.
True.
Seems like fun.
My girl Katy Perry, for some reason, went to space with all of her girls.
Yeah.
Now, I was kind of interested when I saw this. Not that much, to the point where I was like, oh, I gotta drop everything I'm doing and watch this video. I watched the beginning of it. I saw...
Shit, I was, bro. I was that interested. I don't give a fuck, okay? I was all over I hear.
A bunch of memes on Twitter of him crying, so I tried to find that part to see what that was about. That was...
Yeah, he put that in the end of him crying. It was interesting.
The end.
You know, I also see the dynamic of Ethan and Eli. I'm like, fuck.
Oh my God. I'm projecting so hard onto these people.
Hard to be a couple online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, like if you come to their defense, that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them.
From the start of the video, we get the classic Content Cop feel. It's Ian in a wife beater on his phone drinking a beer while watching a clip about Ethan.
Anybody who says any fucking thing, they will attempt to ruin their lives. And once again, I'm the crazy one.
We then see him look at his old police Content Cop uniform hung up, and there's a little montage of him training, and it's him...
You think he actually left it there, dude? You think it was actually hanging up there? That's crazy.
You know, classic Content Cop style, rolling around, pretending to fight, put his costume on, smoking some cigarettes, and then running off into the distance. Classic stuff. That felt very authentic.
Did it feel very authentic?
Then we get this amazing transition to Hasan Piker's stream. He begins to stare at the camera and
I don't know if he's being sarcastic or not. Was it amazing?
tell Ethan to wake up.
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan.
Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, I actually watched your content video, your content nuke on me. It wasn't that good. You're very attractive. Incredible.
Wake up.
Wakey, wakey, Ethan.
Wake up. That, by the way, was not an impression of Hasan. That was me doing an impression of Muhammad Wali, the famous Joe Biden. Wake up. Joe Biden, wake up. Every time I see Tu 2 year, 6 month, 1 year, wake up. I just start doing an impression of Muhammad Wali, or if I think that's his name, Muhammad Wali. I'm not really sure. He's my brother-in-law. I think he's Kurdish. He's a legend. He's a Kurdish legend.
We have a lot of other things to cover here, but I look to Dr. Sherwood. Are we moving?
Joe Biden, wake up.
Ian pops in, gets real close to the camera.
That was incredible.
Starts repeating the same phrase. Then Denims, Frogan, and Sayanda Black appear.
You like seeing that? You like that?
The camera starts repeating the same phrase. Then Denims, Frogan.
Denims is really accentuating herself here. It's incredible.
And Sayanda Black appear, telling
say Sayanda Black.
Ethan to wake up as well.
I wouldn't doubt that. His name is Sean the Black, but like, listen, a lot of black people like Dragon Ball Z, so maybe he does pronounce his name Saiyan the Black. You know?
Ethan, the dumb is telling you to wake up.
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up.
Can I scroll? I cannot scroll up. This is how the re-upload is looking. So there's really nothing I could do about the formatting. Sorry.
Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, wake up.
Ooh, Ethan, poop your pants.
Just wake up.
Tickle me, Ethan.
Honestly, I'm not sure who these people are. I know Hasan. And I know Ian, but I don't know who Denim. I really don't know. Pardon my ignorance. I don't spend a crazy amount of time on the internet, believe it or not. I like to talk shit about, once again, people who are very obviously bad. You know, I like to play it safe, as they say.
Well, you know what? You got to respect the admission there. Not even kidding. It seems like Oompaville's like evolution of as a person was being super terminally online, and then he got married, and he's like, you know what? I don't really care anymore, but I'm still going to talk about this shit because people like me. And you know what? Again, like I do appreciate transparency. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. I do appreciate transparency. I appreciate the honesty. It's a real thing. It is something that I can value. So.
Wake up. It ends with them doing that fucking Fortnite dance with the L on their head.
Yeah, Fortnite.
This part seriously was.
I heard they're adding Darth Jar Jar Binks into it.
It was a tough watch for me. I was like, where's the part where he's crying? And I want to see that part. I want to see that part. What's that about? How do you cry in this video? Seems interesting to cry about. The Fortnite dance, though, you know, tongue-in-cheek, is the L, the dancing L. I thought the beef between Hasan and H3 was extremely serious.
It was a little serious. I mean, it is serious because it is an Israel-Palestine conversation, but it's all political drama. Like, that's really what it is. I know Hasan likes to pretend that it's like this super deep, serious stuff, but like he's a political drama content creator, and me too. Like I'm not saying I'm like amazing, but that's what he is.
I realized it was a Fortnite L dance worth joking beef. I wasn't sure about this. All these people are involved, and I have no fucking idea what's going on. So come on this ride with me. And then we get Ian describing Ethan and his podcast. His friend Ethan talking about the guests he's had on, such as Trisha Paytas, Hasan, and more.
Ethan, as you know, is a content creator who has a podcast where he says all sorts of outrageous.
What is that doctor guy kept saying? Content. Facilitator? What was the word he said? That was like so, it was annoying the fuck out of me.
Stuff. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's f***ed up. He's had shows with all sorts of different controversial characters. He's had a show with Trisha Paytas. He's had a show with Hasan Piker. In doing so, he's gathered a ton of different audiences. Now, in his podcast with Hasan, Leftovers, they would mostly talk about surface level progressive shit and make fun of right-wingers.
Ian then
sounds like pretty cool stuff.
Compares Hasan's posts versus Ethan's, and their videos are insanely different.
It was mostly that until they actually had to reckon with a very serious topic. I would say that Hasan was very well equipped to talk about that topic.
Palestinian people living in the West Bank are subject to these horrific conditions, horrific living conditions by the state of Israel, America's greatest ally and the only democracy in the Middle East, if you ask Republicans and even liberals.
Well, that's Nancy embedded with
Well, they are like the most progressive country in the Middle East. You know, it doesn't excuse their behavior, but it is something to keep in mind, so...
Yeah.
Israeli settlers are trying to evict Palestinian families in occupied East Jerusalem. The United Nations says that may be a war crime. It literally is.
It's just
true.
Eating the toppings. And the pizza looked like a burn victim. It was all disgusting.
I don't know if you can make that joke in 2021.
Why?
It's insensitive to burn victims.
I think it's a good analogy. It's a powerful image.
Ian makes a pretty funny, powerful point by showing what Hasan talks about on a general basis, which is, you know, severe geopolitical issues, things like.
I think that you don't really know what Hasan talks about. Like, Hasan is mostly political drama farming. But, okay, yeah, sure. Gotcha. I don't think it matters what you talk about more often, though. I think what matters is like if you are correct or not. And considering Hasan like actively runs the disinformation campaigns against like the West in every instance, like he's not exactly credible. Like it's really tough to be the kind of person that will sit here and talk about how like people in Gaza are like, you know, affected negatively, which is true, 100% true. But then like you go in there and you don't apply the same charity to Ukraine. It doesn't make any sense. You know, you can't, and you making a joke about how like about how Russia, and when I say he made a joke, but he means what he's saying. Like he's fine with Russia annexing part of Ukraine. Like, oh, you clearly don't care about that genocide going on. When you downplay Uyghur Muslims being put in camps in China, that's downplaying that. And it's like, okay, what does his source come from? Does he care about people that are like disaffected, or does he just hate the West so bad he's always going to say the West is bad? That's the problem.
It's like the conflict in Israel and Palestine and Gaza, and then what Ethan talks about, which is like, you know, shit, I guess, just normal YouTube shit, normal.
Who cares? I could come on and talk about my favorite brand of cereal, but if I come on and I have an educated take about Israel Palestine, then like it doesn't matter what I usually talk about. I'm right. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like it really does not matter. But okay.
Drama shit, I suppose.
Ethan was obviously caught in this tricky situation where he is extremely sympathetic to the Israeli cause and what's happening to them. His wife's Israeli. She served in the IDF.
He's also sympathetic to the Palestinian cause too.
He obviously likes the state of Israel.
True.
On the other hand, he just got done capturing a massive progressive audience.
Just they're not allowed to do anything that they want.
Who are very politically savvy. They follow Hasan.
That part was funny. Hasan being politically savvy, very LOL, dude. Very LOL. LOL?
Hasan is strictly a political streamer.
That is strictly untrue. He is a drama streamer, political drama streamer. Just to be strictly clear about that. Just want to be strictly clear.
So this is something they're very keyed into. So when they see Ethan say things that are just like not accurate and it's just propaganda, they're going to call it out.
And I think that's probably a pretty good way to start the video, because it is very clear that one of these people is dialed in when it comes to serious talks, serious topics, and the ham-fisting of the world and politics, and then the other is ham-fisting drama and stuff. That's Ethan.
All right, listen, man. You have no idea what you're talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about, man. This is so I think that this is what I mean when I say that, like, optically to the TikTok crowd, the low attention span like crowd that doesn't actually know about these two people and doesn't actually watch these two people, Hasan seems correct. Because Hasan does politics, and that's strictly what he does, really serious politics, even though he does political drama, and he's just strictly anti-Western. That's why he doesn't care. He jokes about how Ukrainians are like justifiably being taken over by Russia. He doesn't care. And like, but people look at it and they go like, oh, yes, he's a serious guy. Like, I see him doing politics on Twitch. That's like saying Asmongold is a serious political person. Like, that's really what you're saying here to some extent. But okay, cool stuff, man.
That's Ethan, is that, you know, so it's a big difference. Cool way to start the video. And then Ian talks about the purpose of this video, stating it's about all the bridges he's been burning, and lastly, burning the...
What's interesting, though, is that if you watch the video, Ian focuses exclusively on optics and has really zero reasonable criticisms. That's it. It's all just about breaking down Ethan's character. It has absolutely nothing to do with actually breaking down Ethan's arguments. That's the problem.
The one with him.
In Ethan burning bridges with people until he burned the bridge with me. Since Ethan and Hasan's falling out, I've been keeping to myself mostly. I don't have many nice things to say. Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help, maybe if he stops harassing other creators, maybe if he does these things, eventually he'll find peace and we can like rekindle our friendship.
You're just a bad guy right now, Ethan. We cannot associate, okay?
That's what Ethan has been doing a lot lately, is burning a lot of bridges. A lot of people online have been fucking burning bridges, dude. Holy shit, I didn't even know there were that many bridges out there. I didn't even know there was that many bridges to burn. I think I might burn a bridge soon. What if I burnt the H3 and Ian Idubbbz bridge both in this video?
Well, I don't think anybody would give a fuck, to be honest.
Both of you guys, but like not really though, I don't care. He then talks about his ex-editor and the horrible things he's tweeted, which he feels attributed towards the falling out between himself and Ethan.
I used to work with this video editor named Froggy Tonic. I discovered him because he was in the circles online that I was in. And one of those circles is an H3 fan. He watched Ethan's content. He liked Ethan's content.
Yes, the fallen fan.
Until he didn't like Ethan's content.
The user, Froggy Tonic, tweeted about how he does...
Well, why are you so okay with Ethan's clout then when it comes to your Creator Clash event? If you know what I mean? Like, you're sitting here getting his people to like go onto your event. Like, you got AB doing it, Lena doing it. So, like, obviously you want the cloud. So
doesn't like Hila and Ethan and their stance on Palestine.
Now, my former editor of a year and a half ago did say some truly mean shit. He called Hila the C word. He said they're trying to kill their dog with cheddar cheese and a bunch of other shit, I'm sure. Ethan...
Yeah, and they had like all this culminated in CPS getting called, which Idubbbz never acknowledges. So
at some point discovers that Idubbbz' former editor says this horrendous shit about him and Ela.
Ian feels that all of this started within his community, feeding him politics and other things to enrage him into talking about them, specifically pointing out a specific user who seems to be at the head of all of this farming.
Why is there so much work being put into discovering this guy on Twitter who's barely getting any interactions, linking him to me and posting on the Reddit, when there's no work being put into who the f is the person on the Reddit who's posting this in the first place? If you do a little bit of research, it seems like it's an account whose intention is to make Ethan crash out.
This person was always getting Ethan to crash out, specifically on his own Reddit, which is a real embarrassing job. Crashing out on Reddit is just incredible. If you're not responding to serious posts with a picture of you looking old, what the f are you even doing on the internet? Do you actually care? For real? Like, genuinely? One user pointed this out and said that this is happening so much that others are starting to notice. It's becoming a thing. This is only the beginning of the very long content cop.
One of the users on the Snark Reddit points this out. They're like, I've seen this account before. This account has scraped its history, and it's now trying to make Ethan burn bridges. This is within Ethan's own community. Like, this is the thing that he needs to be critical of.
Ethan's just crazy. The CPS being called on his children, that's not a big deal, guys. Don't worry about it. It's secondary, according to that shitty doctor that Ethan likes still for some reason.
It's not me.
And there's a lot more of Ian pointing out Ethan's supposed hypocrisy. It didn't really seem like to me watching it that Ian really wanted to make this. It was very light compared
Yes, he did. He obviously wanted to make this, or else he wouldn't have made this. I don't know if you guys know how this works, but
to all the other content cops. And Ian says in the beginning of the video that if he was told back in 2016 that he'd make this H3 content cop, he'd think he lost the plot, but it's actually Ethan who's lost the plot, resulting in this being made.
If I would imagine this in 2016, I would have been like, oh yeah, if I ever do that, it's gotta be because I lose the plot. Well, it turns out it's not me losing the plot, it's Ethan. He's the one who fucking attacked first.
Again, yeah, you could argue that, I suppose, right? I haven't really kept up with either I'm not sure. I want to know what you guys think, though, really genuinely. These are two former friends, and it appears in the video that Ian is...
I mean, it's fine for you to be like, hey, I just kind of want to view this, and I don't want to have a... hey, it's fine for him to make a video uninformed. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care that he made a video that's uninformed. What I do care about is that you are sitting here and you're taking everything that Idubbbz says as a fact uncritically, while being like, guys, I don't really know what's happening. But then, okay, if you don't really know what's happening, then why are you taking everything that Idubbbz says as a fact? Like, that's the only issue. If you had watched this and you're like, oh, if this is true, that's crazy. That's fine. But you're kind of taking it as if it is true.
Is a bit bummed that this is where the friendship has ended up, and one of the big reasons is that Ian seems to feel like, after the way Ethan has spoken about their history recently, that their friendship wasn't one born of mutual respect and appreciation for the other person, but rather a relationship of transactional exchange, which that makes sense for YouTubers. From what I know about YouTubers, that does make
everybody has a level of transactional, like everybody engages in a level of transactional relationships. Like, you know, you're obviously not going to be friends with somebody if you don't get something out of it. That's getting something out of it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be like money, but it could be like friendship, you know, something positive. But I don't see that beyond a reasonable amount, to be honest with you. I don't see that being true.
Makes sense, especially ones that live in Los Angeles. No offense to anybody who lives in Los Angeles, but also full offense.
But like Idubbbz is like literally guzzling this guy. Like, he's fucking sitting here having Ethan's fighters playing, like people that work with Ethan on. He wants Ethan's clout, so.
To everyone who lives in Los Angeles, especially YouTubers. This point of transactional exchange is first brought up almost 14 minutes into the video when Ian plays a clip from an H3 show where Ethan shares that he'd stood by Ian and Anisa more than anybody, and uses that like it's a token to try and cash in on Ian's support. I stood by you, so you stand by me. You know, it's like you have to defend someone because they defended you, which I guess that's fair.
I probably don't.
Yeah, I can see why he deleted this video, but so again, it was because Anisa's wife's best friend, Denims, was, we'll say, signal boosting the support of CPS being called on his children for false reasons. So probably would have helped if you knew that.
On and stood by Idubbbz and Anisa more than anybody. I've stood by them when all the internet hated them.
I don't like that Ethan brought this up because it makes the relationship feel very transactional. Like,
not really. It makes it seem like, hey, Ethan took a fucking, like, he defended you because it was like he felt it was the right thing to do, even though it didn't help him and his account or him and his shit, and you could not reciprocate that favor. That's what it seems more like.
You know, we're just meant to support each other online despite our own personal morals or principles.
I could see how he would feel that way. I could see how somebody with a victim complex could feel that way. So.
Like the transactional element of that statement, because they're two different people, if you weren't aware. Two different guys, different bodies, different minds, completely different people. And the idea that you just stand beside someone because they stood beside you at some point is very, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. There's not a lot of merit to that. You know, they're just not on the same wavelength, though. I'm starting to kind of get the general idea that these people maybe aren't really that good of friends. Maybe it was all fake and lame and stupid and didn't actually ever exist from day one.
I think that if anything, that would be from Idubbbz' perspective. Like, he would be the one that kind of burned the bridge there, bud, but okay.
This is pickle brain nonsense. Due to the lack of public support from Ian, Ethan says that Ian is no friend of his.
But I'll say this, I don't think they're any friends of mine. And certainly
he
I don't
sounds so dumb in this video. He really has no fucking idea what he's talking about here.
think they're any friends of mine based on the text conversation I had with them too before I even talked about it. So I have nothing. Like, I don't need any halfway friends, man.
Seems like a bit of an overreaction.
Not really. CPS was called on his children, idiot. Maybe you should have made yourself aware of that when you're fucking low effort reacting to this. Me, when I low effort react, but somehow someone else doesn't even lower effort react.
Very large, broad, divisive topic. But I also understand the desire from Ethan to want to have supportive friends. That is incredibly
That's
important.
So cool.
But when
Are you learning empathy?
you're friends with, when you got pickle brains, everyone in your friend circle is a bunch of pickle brains. Your network is your net worth, and you're just a jar of pickles. That's what the reality is when you're in content.
It sounds more like this guy's the one that's fucking terminally online. Like, what are you talking about?
Creator and influencer. Your network is your net worth. Me, when I'm surrounded by people smarter than me.
Okay.
Outside of how this manifests for Ian and Ethan, personally, my big thing is realizing that your friends and specifically your family, you don't have to agree on everything with everybody. This content cop video is bumming me out, dude.
You don't, but I think this kind of goes beyond that, buddy boy. Ooh.
We need to get a Holy Relic interlude. Cheer everybody up, my friend. Did you come up with that yourself? What a positive message from the Holy Relic. Things are almost never black and white with the old adage, you're either with me or you're against me. That's a cliche, it's stupid.
Sometimes it can be. I think in this instance it's okay for it to be.
I've had instances in my life where friends and family are arguing on what food to eat, and then you just extrapolate that to anything.
That sounds so serious. It sounds almost as serious as a CPS call when you mentor children. Great, good job.
And
I really appreciate the empathy, Oompaville. Okay.
as long as you're not directly involved in that situation, then it's no different to those things. You're either with me or against me. Well, conceptually, I feel differently about this theoretical hypothesis. Dude, shut up. Quit trying to be smart. You're not. You're just fucking dumb. Shut up. How about you embrace being stupid? That's what people should do. Embrace stupidity and just enjoy your life. It seems like this is how Ian had felt. I'm not 100% sure. I can't speak to how he felt. He made this video, so obviously things have changed for him.
Okay. I hate it. I hate the reasonability troll. I keep saying it, but it's one of these things where it's like, I don't really know what's going on. And then he heavily takes Idubbbz's side on everything. And then he goes, but I don't really know. And then he continues to try to play like this fence-sitting game that's really actually in support of Idubbbz because he feels, based on the video, that Idubbbz is right. It's just lazy. It's just fucking pathetic.
Maybe he had hoped that there was something that was positive that could have been taken from the ongoing conversation, but I suppose Ethan didn't react as Ian had hoped for in their private DMs, which is why now Ian is making an hour-long hit piece on his former friend. It's not really—
Hey, he wouldn't talk to me in private? Oh yeah? Well, I'm gonna make a whole hit piece on you. I'm gonna make a whole fucking hit piece. You know? That's because that's a normal reaction.
that big of a hit piece, though. It's not that big of a deal. It's a little bit ironic, too, because talking about transactional—
It kind of is a little bit of a big deal, but okay.
friendships, it seems like Ian has transacted through obvious decisions that have been made and videos that have been posted. He's transacted out of the old friendships of Ethan, Hila, Max, and Chad, and now he has credited Hasan, Frogan, Denims, and other folks in the description, which to me that does seem like a transaction. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know the point of this video. Not the one that I'm making. None of them have a point. This one though, the content cop. Usually it's like really clear and obvious, but this is just—
It's like Nuxtaku talking about like having serious, like pretty strong opinions on something, and they go, I don't care, but I don't care, but I don't really care, but I don't really care. It's like, okay, we're just trolling, guys. It's all good. It's all good, baby.
So I don't know what's going on.
It's all good, baby.
Just do this in DMs. It seems like this didn't need to be made, really. But it's very epic though.
Okay. That's not really epic, but if you say so.
There's a moment—
Ooh, funny millennial cringe. I love it.
—where that really highlights how nasty both sides are being in Ian's video. And that's when Ian points out that harassment is bad, and he doesn't like that Ethan and Hila were being harassed, but—
Dude, I can't believe he said harassment's bad. Fuck, I made a mistake. He's actually a super good guy.
—that they were perpetuating it.
We had such a fair response to what you guys were going through. We don't support harassment. It's a bad thing.
Wow.
But
That's
it happens,
so
and you're
cool.
perpetuating it.
You fucking propagandist, lying scumbag, terrorist
Get him,
supporter.
dude.
He probably sets up a mirror and jerks off watching himself. Dan K.
Sometimes I do.
Clancy has
Sometimes
a similar
I do.
view on Hitler. Because Dan Clancy, the Nazi, fucking anti-Semite.
You can't expect other people to stop harassing you if you continue to harass people.
But then he says this inside an H3 content cop which I just think there's no winning in this. I don't know the point of this video because there's no winning, and you're calling, like, there's a lot of calling out of hypocrisy, but everyone's always hypocritical. If you're speaking and you're critiquing things and you're judging people, you're always going to be hypocritical, no matter what. Like, it's not possible to not do that.
I don't know what that means. Like, okay.
So there's like escalation and harassment, and and then the middle thing. Like,
I mean, criticizing something doesn't make it a harassment, but okay, if you say, I don't know, I feel like that's not like a hot take. You can criticize something without harassing that person, but I guess we don't know how to differentiate two very different words. So.
I don't know. Yeah.
What the hell?
Big day for the unemployed. So yeah, talking about the harassment thing, and then Ian being the one putting out an hour-long hit piece on Ethan and Hila, where then he joins the hive of the side of the people who hate Ethan the most. I have kind of gotten the idea that maybe Ethan hates Hasan a lot more than Hasan hates Ethan, but I only watched Ethan's video.
No, I think that's the optics play that Hasan operates with, and that's why like maybe it seems like that from you, but it's not true. Hasan just is playing optics. I think that Ethan's probably a more genuine person than Hasan, and so, you know, I really think that's what it is that he's a more genuine person than Hasan, and so like Hasan is more interested in that like long form optics game, and that's really what it comes down to. Hasan knows the optics. He knows how to play optics. He knows how to watch them. Ethan, not that he doesn't know how to do those things, but he's not necessarily as like interactive in that. He's like, hey, these are my genuine moments. Boom, 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 boom. Hasan's a little more methodical because he's a deceptive piece of dog shit.
Video on Hasan. I didn't really watch any Hasan stuff, so I'm so washed up on this shit, dude. I don't know, but the dancing in the middle, wake up. I mean, this is like, it's just so odd. This is such an odd, I don't know. It's very YouTube. It's very YouTube. I will say it does suck being harassed a lot on the internet, and being a couple.
Well, I love being harassed.
Must be really difficult being on the internet. Ethan and Hila just getting harassed, having kids and stuff. It isn't a world or a culture that really does well about getting along. Nothing about it is good. Nobody ever gets along. And if you're like a Ian and you have an Anisa and there's like a
I mean, like, listen, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a hot take here. Like, you guys all kind of feed into that harassment. Like, I've seen, I saw his wife talk about that person, Eleanor Wren, and people could disagree with me all they want on it. People have this, like, insane conspiracy theory that, like, Eleanor Wren is trying to, like, harm her child. It's some fucking, it's some mom. It's some fucking TikTok mom who has her kids do, like, videos. And people have gotten so, like, unhinged about the discourse that they've decided that the mom is, like, trying to cause the child to be jerked off to by pedophiles. Like, it goes really deep, the Eleanor Wren lore. Okay. It's actually unhinged. And I remember watching like at least a little bit of a video from his wife, and she kind of did the same thing, like the dog pile. Like, that's what the harassment is. It's when you guys have like really terminally online takes because they're popular on the internet and you don't want to get criticism, and you guys say some dumbass shit. Like, that's what it is. And so you guys are not exactly free from it. You guys are all very terminally online. Like, that's really what it comes down to.
A very big divisive thing, and the audiences don't match, and then, you know, your whole audience shits on your wife all the time. It's got a red pill.
Like, the proportionate criticism is like, hey, you need to be more careful about like the way that people might be viewing your kid, but you're not obviously trying to put them in harm's way. That's what it comes down to. You can yikes at all you want, but that's like the reality of that situation. But why do you want your minor to be a child star? I probably shouldn't have even gone into this because I forgot I have fucking idiots in here. It wasn't really that weird. The Eleanor Wren situation wasn't that weird. I'm so sorry. I've watched the videos. People were having meltdowns because she did a Nicki Minaj trend, and they're like, "Oh my god, she's putting pillows in the kid's butt." Oh. She had her kid eat a hot dog, and people were like, "Oh my god, the kid's sucking penis." It's like, dude, you guys are terminally online. You guys, for some reason, are thinking about a kid sucking a wiener. All right, she had one video of the kid that was like taking a bath because they got a L'Oreal, I think it was L'Oreal Kids fucking shampoo sponsorship, and people are like, "Oh my god, oh." Like, you guys can look at it and be like, hey, this might not be appropriate. Some people might be using this the wrong way, without trying to overinflate it and make it seem weird. I'm sorry. That's like the reality of the situation. It's the same thing as when like she did a challenge where she was like trying things with a straw, but she couldn't see the stuff. So it's like you put a straw in different things. Be like, oh my god, she's doing it again. She's sucking a dick. And it's like, okay, you guys are like really online. You guys are really online when it comes to these takes, you know, and that's part of it. Is you guys get all like riled up into like speculation constantly over and over again, turn it into like something that it's not.
You know, it's got to fucking red pill you massively. And then now people shitting on
and then you guys start to backtrack and go from like, oh my god, they're doing weird shit to like, well, you shouldn't put your child online at all. You can't consent. It's like, okay, these are proportionate conversations we could have, but you're not giving the same energy to child stars. So like, again, you're just trying to find a reason to double down on hating this person. I'm gonna end it here. It's okay for you guys to be like, hey, I'm not a big fan of like very young people online. That's totally fine. you can have a proportionate criticism, but don't play this game like she's trying to have her kids get like fucking basically internet like raped, because that's what you guys are insinuating. That's where it started, and then it's slowly like, well, I just don't think kids should be online. It's like, okay, that's reasonable, but you're trying to keep the same energy. Chill the fuck out. It's not that deep. And when people push it as if it is that deep, that's the problem.
Hila, red pills Ethan, it's just like the same thing, but just different. But it is tough having a public relationship of two creators, I guess, online, if you care that much. And this whole thing just makes me real sad. Let's move on to the button. The button part.
Ethan got
the button part was the stupidest part of the video.
Button or kill switch as a response to the controversy with Cutie Cinderella. He was not able to control himself in that moment, and instead of figuring out how he can change his behavior, he spent $20,000.
Dan and Hila were like, we would kill button that right now if we could. I can't change who I am.
I know. That's why the kill button is on its way.
That's it. See, exactly.
I do think this part is very funny, and I've always wondered what this whole button thing is, because I've seen it in clips before where Ethan will talk about something on his show, and there's a button where he'll be talking, and then the button,
it's a button that like every radio broadcast has. It's not a big deal.
Button plays music, and he gets cut off, and he gets bleeped and shit.
So after 10, I'm going to be saying a ton of racial slurs and super racist jokes and homophobic stuff as well.
He's not actually going to do it.
Well, they will not.
Release.
That's
You're supposed
funny.
to hit it on 30. They'll be seeing this.
Let's see what happens. Oh, they see this?
And Ian in the Content Cop speaks on the fact that Ethan is so immature, he needs an actual physical button to cut him off when he says something controversial, insensitive, or when he's just entirely wrong, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like everybody could look at that and be like, oh, that's really stupid. That's just a really stupid way to interpret this situation.
And it points to his apparent inability to control himself when he's speaking, and that is after going on a problematic tirade that could ruin the flow of his show or just get him completely canceled. I don't know, dude.
He uses the button for everything. If his jokes don't land, he's hitting the button.
It was being presented as if the Jordan.
I find it so funny with the context of watching them talk to that therapist where he's like, I'm insecure about my ability to what did he say? Entertain. He said entertain. And it's like, oh, like, why are you giving critiques on people and their jokes if you are not exactly confident in your ability to make a joke? It seems a little bit interesting, in my opinion.
Crying thing?
I hit the button.
Why?
I don't think I needed to, but you guys were giving me crickets, so I panicked.
If he's insecure about getting something wrong, he's hitting the button.
Oh, so sad. Thank you.
Okay.
What?
If I had a button, dude, I'd use it too.
What on this frame
But I don't have $20,000 like Ethan. Because my wife wants to go to fucking Disney all the time. Nah, I love my wife.
could Ethan have responded to? Perhaps a country flag that he got wrong?
That's actually a really good point. I never even thought about that. So it says all the people who edit their videos. Yeah, that's a good point. If you're sitting here and you're editing your videos to make sure that you put out into the world what you want people to see, how is that any different from having a button that allows you to cut your broadcast so that people don't hear something? Like, that makes sense to me. How is that not like a decent point? That's actually a really good point that you made. True. Good point.
I don't know. If he goes on a problematic tirade, he's hitting the button.
Before, look how sad. But yeah, it's not just that. Like their eyes are like big. I think you guys are wrong on this one.
I think the button's a great idea. I think we should get a button. I think we
True,
ought to have
there
a
we
button
go.
for the channel.
Based.
We ought to have a button. I kind of have a button, to be honest.
Okay.
Scroll down. It's called a lot of editors. Ian says that
No, he even makes the same point. Fair enough.
Ethan has a physical button because he doesn't use his mental button, which is insane. I really don't know the point of having a
It sounds like Idubbbz is being ableist against people with ADHD. Am I right, guys? Hashtag hard to have a filter.
physical button while you're on a show. I mean, even Howard Stern didn't have a physical button, really. Do these people have physical buttons? Like, okay, don't say the F word or whatever when you're on live and stuff.
Yeah.
Leave it out. Oh, beep, 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 beep.
Did he say that Howard Stern did or didn't have one? Because I'm pretty sure Howard Stern did have one, no? I would imagine.
But they cut some shit out that is just very obviously wild and insane. And they're live on YouTube, and I don't know. I don't know. It's an odd thing that we were able to witness.
Everybody's familiar with it on a level. I mean, it's a dump switch. It's what prevents people if they curse on broadcast television or something, so that they don't get banned or fined by the FCC.
So we're going to implement that. Is everyone going to have a dump button?
No, it'll just be me, and I actually think that you should have one.
The point is that Ethan's mental button doesn't work, so he uses his physical button. Which is crazy. And I guess what makes it worse is that this is a normal thing in his community. Ian talks about his tirades and that he himself calls it Goblin mode.
The H3 community and Ethan himself use the phrase Goblin mode all the time to excuse a lot of his shitty behavior or make it seem less bad.
I've been diagnosed with Goblin mode, actually.
By claiming that what happens is he
What's wrong with Goblin mode, dude? Who doesn't like a beautiful Goblin mode?
just gets into this like uncontrolled
Nicholas
state.
Diorio's girlfriend. Take a look at my girlfriend. My name is Nicholas Iorio.
First it was Goblin
I
mode.
do not call myself
This-
Goblin mode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what you did.
Goblin mode? Is that what you're calling Tourette's now?
And this mode allows him to push away any feelings about doing something bad into a silly little name. Him going Goblin mode, aka being childish and erratic.
To all victims of
Probably being
Goblin mode,
based,
I would like to issue an apology.
Well, he
You are
got that.
Goblin mode today. You're Goblin mode. Look how many times you paused.
I'm trying, bro.
And I don't
Goblin
think there's
D's,
no
I like
room
that.
for using the term goblin mode. I like the idea that you're defending yourself and the little guy by going goblin mode when a big corporation or a big entity is trying to attack you.
Like, if you f me over, if you steal money from me, if you patronize me, if you do any of this shit like you're trying to do to me, to treat me like a fucking idiot, I'm crazy, dude. I've gone f***ing goblin mode over way less.
But you not thinking about what you're saying, not, reflecting on your behavior, not changing your behavior, that's not goblin mode.
This is just so, like, this is just such a childish fucking online criticism. It's so boring.
That's being a child.
Ian says he feels bad for the crew that works with Ethan due to where they sit.
They probably make pretty good money. I doubt that they need to feel bad.
Trapped behind having to nearly agree with Ethan at all times, and they are also at his whim.
The one time the button didn't work, and we listened to how he spoke to AB without...
Oh, he had like oh no, him and his employee had a fucking disgruntled, like they were disgruntled.
Without thinking that the internet
Oh
was
my
going to hear it. It was
God.
rude. It was nasty, and it didn't have this caveat of like, I'm not mad at you. It was anger. And
Oh no, not anger. Hey guys, I'm learning to feel for the first time in my life. I'm learning empathy. Somehow don't have empathy for anger though. It's crazy. Hey, they wanting to get home to their kids. But like, AB kind of like delaying the show. And by the way, AB wasn't being a bad person. It was a disagreement. Like, oh no, we're gonna die. The end of the world. Crazy, 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 crazy. It's so crazy.
And it was uncalled for.
One time the button didn't work, and we got to hear the harsh behind the scenes of how one of his employees was treated, which that is really odd. I don't get that. Ethan certainly seems like he's off the rails and should.
What don't you get? I don't understand what it is that you guys don't get. Like having disagreements with, I don't understand. Like I've had heavy disagreements with my people at work before. It's not that crazy to get, and it wasn't even that big of like a argument or a fight. Like sometimes people do the wrong thing and they get frustrated with somebody else. It's not that deep, man. It's really not that deep.
To draw that back in. When the button didn't work, we could hear the entire conversation. A little bit of a scary bad boss moment.
Not really.
Real bad boss moment. Deserves a bit of an ass whooping. Bit of an ass whooping. Just.
What are you, the child? What are you talking about? You guys ever, like, I hate people who've never worked a job before. It fucking pisses me off. I take you fucking people seriously. It just kills me, honestly. It just kills me. I just don't get it. But
I was gonna say it.
Use they get access to.
I'm gonna say it, guys. I'm gonna say it because if I don't, you guys will be mad at me because everybody's always supposed to be perfect. Hey guys, why do we have all this negative energy on the internet where people expect you to have really high expectations of how you're supposed to act? By the way, if you don't act perfect, I'm going to say that this is not good. It's so scary. Scary boss moment. Hashtag scary boss moment. It's like, okay, hashtag you're fucking online. You guys have never worked a job before. Chill out. Relax. It's not that fucking deep. It really is not that deep.
Cover most of it.
We're doing it.
What are
Making
you
it so
doing?
awkward and terrible.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Just like, this is what I'm talking about when it's always like...
We need to get home for our kids.
It's like, bro...
Oh no, I didn't want to finish it right now. I'm about finishing Wednesday.
On Friday. Is it? You guys like.
All right, I'm taking my hand off the...
Fire the button man on that one, am I right? Fire the button man on that one. Hey guys. Yeah, AB can't speak for himself. True. He's a fucking grown-ass man. He can speak for himself.
What? Okay, well,
heard all that.
Thanks, button.
And he didn't want to take accountability for it. He immediately wanted to deflect, and he wanted to say that the button f***ed him.
First of all, I
think his crash shot was kind of valid, so I don't really care about it. Just to be clear.
Appreciate the hard work.
I know you do.
And I loved it, and I really enjoy it. But it's like every time we do it, it's like the show is what it is, and
I know. I was being selfish.
No, dude, that button f***ed me, dude. Can you imagine that button f***ing me over like that?
The button f***ed you? AB f***ed you? Who f***ed you? You f***ed yourself.
AB, Abdullah Ayad. He got the short end of the stick. AB Starkiller. I think that's his name. That is so funny, though. That really is a very funny, weird... Imagine if I was like that.
Like what?
I'm not like that, am I, John? Tell them. I do feel bad for AB. He seems like a nice guy, and the whole team.
Yeah, AB seems like a nice dude. I don't really feel bad for him. It's like fucking happened. That was like a work moment. LOL, work moment. Ha! Oh my god, work moment.
Stuff, and they just seem like, I don't know, they just seem stressed out. I've always wondered why Ethan keeps on doing this stuff. He seems so stressed out all the time. Ian also talks about...
Not really. You guys are weird. That's what I'm talking about. Like, these are the types of takes that are like that are in support of like, yeah, the Ethan is like unregulated. This is the Ethan is unregulated shit that we're talking about. Like that they support. Like they keep saying it's just this is the Ethan is unregulated shit. This is what we're talking about. It's really not that deep.
The whole Israel and Palestine Ethan video and brings up how Ethan shits on Lebanon. Some of his employees are Lebanese.
Also, let's talk about
Shits on Lebanon? What are you talking about?
AB and Lena, 2 Lebanese employees, and you just continue to talk about the conflict like they don't exist. It would be nicer, a lot nicer.
So basically what you're saying is that because they're Lebanese, they can't handle being a person. Why can't you talk about a conflict? Like, just because somebody's Lebanese, oh God, are they incapable of thinking? Are they incapable of any? I don't understand. I really don't get that. Oh, they're Lebanese, so you can't. They're not saying anything harmful.
For you to shut the f up about it.
Then he goes on to talk about Ethan's demon mode, which is like Goblin mode on Fent.
I like how you claimed that he was speaking badly about like Lebanese people, and you kind of just rolled past that.
Some of his employees are Lebanese. Ethan keeps on doing this stuff. He seems so stressed out all the time. Ian also talks about the whole Israel and Palestine Ethan video, and which is like Goblin mode on Fent. It's just him being straight up evil. He does attack people pretty evilly in some instances.
We're all familiar with Goblin mode. Well, Ethan debuted a new mode recently.
And by the way, my ratio is pretty good. Like, I'm looking at like 20 Goblin modes to 1 too far. Demon mode, let's call it.
Okay.
Yeah, demon mode. They do go too far with making fun of. A lot of people make fun of people. I just feel guilty.
Yeah, like, can you just give me an example of that happening? I bet you will. Let's hear it.
I feel guilty making fun of people a lot, unless they're stupid idiots like Vitaly or the other stupid.
Yeah, right. Like, people that are easy to criticize. That's yes, we get it.
It's we talk about. I like Raz is good. I like Raz, but demon mode's bad. This point is really good. Ethan used to be kind of the underdog.
We're not going to give an example, by the way. We're not going to give one.
The internet rally against him. He was sued and he won, and that's like why so many people love Ethan. Originally loved Ethan, started to love H3H3, but now he is in demon mode quite a bit. It is sad to see.
Give me an example. Like, why do you think he's in demon mode like quite a bit? Give me an example of that happening.
He also repeatedly plays victim and says that he is the victim of contextless slander, but then goes on to contextlessly slander people repeatedly. For example, like the CEO of Twitch.
I've never want to sue someone for defamation, but like at what point do you kind of fucking have to? I mean, this is like.
Well, I mean, there's pretty big evidence that Twitch does not care about anti-Semitism. They were blocking Israelis from making new accounts for like a year on the basis of, well, they didn't want any like war videos being seen. But then, of course, to go along with that, they didn't block Russia and Ukraine. So yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's like basically someone calling you a pedophile. Be like, yeah, no, Ethan's a pedophile.
Dan Clancy or whatever, like the CEO of Twitch, and be
pedophile. Dan Clancy has a similar view on it. Because Dan Clancy, the Nazi, anti-Semite.
He also calls people pedophiles and that type of shit and other just, pedo jacketing.
There are certain things you can accuse people of that rise above to make it like
I mean, that's a fine criticism, I guess.
Actionable, which is like wrongfully accusing someone of being a pedophile, a sex criminal, a murderer, shit like that. Dan Clancy now, in other words, he is a pedophile.
So stupid.
You have so much less to go off of saying that than anybody has about
based
Dream.
on his looks. Just on his based on his
Well,
looks.
at least you're self-aware.
That's 100% a joke. I have no evidence to conclude that he is.
One of the more
a little edgy on there.
notable legal threats that Ethan has sent out recently is against Noah Samson.
I have nothing but...
Yes, Noah Samson, the guy who in his video showed on the street content of far right-wing Israelis saying they don't care about Palestinian children dying, then said, I know you usually can't look at on the street content as an accurate representation of things going on, but in this case, it's different with the Jews because they're bad. That's basically what he said. That's definitely great guy to listen to.
Vibe to gain, and potentially your money as well. Don't worry if you don't have it all now. I'll garnish your wages. You're going to be living with your parents for a lot longer, buddy.
That's a very funny joke. That's a very funny joke. Saying someone is a pedophile based on their looks. That is a funny joke off camera in the privacy of your own home. Even then, it's not that funny. No one's there. That's a bad joke. That is a really, 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 that is an alarming level of hypocrisy. Off the rails hypocrisy there. This is my...
Why is it hypocrisy, though? That's the only thing I'm a little bit confused about. Why would it be hypocrisy? You could be like, hey, it's a bad joke. It's not appropriate. That's fine. Like, why is it hypocrisy? I'm a little confused on that one.
Probably the most clear and concise part of the whole video, I'd say. Ian goes from discussing the button heavily to then discussing each three shift from owning libfart SJWs to becoming a libfart SJW himself.
Now let's talk about the left-leaning Democrat.
He presents himself as someone like me, a left-leaning Democrat who supports basic things.
And the
basic things like toilet paper.
fact that as Ethan has made more and more podcast content, his videos have become increasingly political, and like the line between just goofy nonsense and political, just all of it's nonsense. It's
Well, yeah, I mean, Trump is president right now, and that's a legitimate threat to democracy. Unironically, a legitimate threat to democracy. Like, like, yes.
caused a very volatile audience. And the main point of this section of the video that Ian is trying to get across is that Ethan's stances on the Israel-Palestine conflict and other related topics, they seem clear on the surface, but if you dig deeper, they tend to be very inconsistent, which is
Oh, like what? Like, what's an example of that?
classic human behavior. People are very inconsistent and hypocritical. We get an example of it.
Jesus Christ, I hate it when people are like, oh, everybody's hypocritical. Like, sure, everybody can be hypocritical. I don't really know what you're talking about, though. Like, Ethan's been pretty consistent for quite a long time about his, you know, Israel-Palestine take. It's been pretty consistent for a very long time. And that is that like Israel has the right to exist, but they don't have the right to do anything that they want to people in Palestine. And as a war criminal, et cetera, et cetera. It's really not that complicated, to be honest with you, but okay.
This when Hasan suggests that since Ethan is so upset that Hasan is commenting on the politics of Israel.
Oh, so you're just going to make that claim and then you're not going to back it up? Okay. I wonder why you deleted the video.
Hasan tells Ethan to debate Sam Cedar, who is a Jewish man, but an anti-Zionist. I'm not going to explain to you guys what any of that shit means. Look it up yourself.
Are you sure what it means yourself?
I don't want to talk about Zionism in my video. This beautiful, fun video I'm making right now.
It's kind of a little important. Depends on who you ask. Some people are going to say that like Zionism is when you think that like Jews have the right to like own the world. Some people really, Zionist really is just somebody that thinks that Israel has the right to exist, which I generally agree with. It has the right to exist. It doesn't not have the right to exist without impunity or with impunity. I think it's with impunity. You get my point. They're not allowed to do whatever they want. They shouldn't be able to fucking mega bomb Gaza. Guys, it's bad when you kill children. Hot take, right? Yeah, no, it's a bad thing. And I think Netanyahu needs to be like severely punished. Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine of a take. I think that's fine. You know, that's what I think. I don't really care about the label as much as what my reality is here.
So good and high quality.
The thing that made me start to question Ethan's intentions is that when he was suggesting
was my wife Anisa telling me
to talk to Sam Cedar, a fellow progressive, a guy that Ethan respects
crazy.
and looks up to.
He works with Sam Cedar at the Majority Report. I respect him and what they do there.
Ethan then goes on to suggest that it would be racist to debate another Jewish person whom he has publicly shown support for but doesn't share the same beliefs on Israeli politics. That is the stance of Zionism.
No, he's saying it's racist to tell him as a Jewish man that he has to debate another someone else's quote unquote chosen Jew to change his mind. Like that would be that's like saying like, oh, this black person, you're wrong about black people. Go talk to my favorite black person about why you're not having the right black perspective. Like it comes off as condescending and yeah, sure, bigoted.
I suppose.
He kept saying that it was racist or anti-Semitic to suggest that he talked to someone who's within the same ethnic group as him.
That's why I said yesterday,
it's not to talk to someone that's in the same ethnic group, but it might be to suggest somebody has to talk to somebody in your own ethnic group to change your mind on something, just for the sake of it.
Urge Ethan to talk to Sam Cedar. There are very thoughtful, very kind anti-Zionist Jews out there that he could talk to. I don't think that I will be able to reach him.
What's the insinuation that I only listen to other Jewish people? You need to talk to my pre-approved list of Jews that like agree with me on everything. You know, it doesn't matter if they're Jewish, dude. It doesn't matter if they're f***ing Jewish.
This is where we can also see some hypocrisy surrounding Ethan's politics.
Sure, can you explain those to me? That'd be really cool if you can explain to me.
On one hand, Ethan will say that it doesn't matter if someone is Jewish for him to debate him or speak on Israel, but then he will flip a script at a moment's notice and say that he won't take any opinions from someone who isn't Jewish. Which is a fucking crazy thing to say.
I think most Jews.
I don't think Jews at large view it. I don't think that is the.
In what position are you to even say that?
If it's not.
Well, Ethan's citing like actual statistics of what people in Israel think. So I don't know what the fuck you're. Why is this guy talking about this? He looks really uneducated here. Holy fuck.
Motivated by myself. It's motivated by Jews against anti-Zionist
No,
Jews.
seriously, how can you speak for my entire ethnic group? I find that really interesting.
Within the same conversation, Ethan flips back and forth saying it doesn't matter if someone is Jewish, only to follow it with a voice of authority for all Jewish people.
That's the reason.
Because he's like quoting statistics. He's quoting statistics of like the general perspective of Israeli Jews. I don't understand. Like I don't like, dude, you're just so out of your. Okay, I know why you deleted the video. That's pretty much all I can say. Like, there's an obvious reason you deleted this video. This is embarrassing for you that you even made this in the first place. Hey, based on what Idubbbz showed us, Ethan is super hypocritical. Isn't that fucking crazy, dude? That's really wild. Wow. Yeah, great.
Reason why it'd be better served to have this conversation not with myself, but with
my
an
balls,
anti-Zionist Jewish person.
Why does it matter if they're Jewish?
Because I'm not Jewish, and you've said in this conversation that, like, how can you tell me how to feel about the situation?
Yeah, but how is one person a representative of Jews at large? I'm just telling you how Jewish people around the world interpret that phrase.
So yes, Ethan, on occasion you might be suggested to talk to someone who has some crossover with you. It doesn't have to be your ethnicity. It could possibly be someone who shares progressive ideology with you. It could
Okay, well, just to be clear, this one was explicitly because he was Jewish, so I don't know why you're trying to make this point.
possibly be someone who is of your same gender.
It's kind of strange. Sam Cedar is not the only anti-Zionist Jewish person that Ethan doesn't like. He also has beef with Matt Lib, who is currently a producer for Good Mythical Morning, and
well, I'm pretty sure Matt Liv put up some pretty disgusting rhetoric onto his like little podcast or whatever he did.
Since the most recent Israel-Palestine conflict has broken out, Matt has been very active online in support of Palestine. Cool. And since Ethan regularly speaks on behalf of all Jewish people, all Jewish people, including Zionists and anti-Zionists.
What are you talking about? This guy's a fucking weird loser.
Ethan and Hila get upset at Matt for saying that one state doesn't represent all Jews.
When Ethan and Hila are watching Matt Lieb saying that one state doesn't represent all Jews, they cannot wrap their heads around the idea.
No single person represents all Jews.
I'm just telling you how Jewish people around the world interpret that phrase.
Yeah, based on statistics. Okay, cool. Good job. Good job.
No single person represents all Jews, as no single state represents all Jews.
This is another weird thing.
Oh my God.
He takes this argument a bit too literally by saying that Israel never officially stated that it as a country represents all Jews and pretends not to understand what Matt is saying. Hence, it fits his narrative and he's able to use it as a defense for when people say that Jewishness equals Zionist.
Ethan is being so disingenuous here to suggest that he doesn't understand what Matt Lieb is saying. Like, like he's making a semantic argument. Like, I don't think Israel has said that it represents every last Jew on the planet. I don't think Israel has claimed that. They're not going to say that their most genocidal behavior represents anything to do with them, okay? But what they are going to do is they're going to inexplicably link Israel and Jewishness together, so when they're being criticized, all of a sudden, they have the perfect defense.
So yeah, there's like a lot of high-level strategy and debate and argument.
Yeah, so just to be clear, there's pretty big leeway. The idea, like what a Zionist is very similar to like what somebody who's religious in general is. You know, like you might be Christian, but maybe you don't go to church every weekend, but maybe you still consider yourself Christian. That's what Zionism is. At its core, Zionism is just the concept of Israel having the right to exist. That's really it, right? They say, hey, Israel has the right to exist. We'd like to have like this area. That's it. That's not toxic. That's not bad. We could have a whole conversation. You could be like, well, it is an ethno state. It's like, yeah, pretty much every state in the Middle East is an ethno state. Ethno state doesn't mean that only a group of people can live there. It's fairly progressive. There are non-Israeli people living there, Palestinian people living there. Like, I think it's 20% of their population, 2 million people, maybe that's more than 20%, live there. They're not Jewish. They vote, take part in government, et cetera, et cetera. Are they treated equally? Maybe not. I'm not saying they necessarily. They might be probably similarly the way we treat black people in America, but it's the most progressive state in the Middle East, right? Some people are being like super far right, and they're trying to be like, oh, only Jews should exist, blah, 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 blah. I would say that's not most of them. I would say that's not the majority of them. And so when people are like, oh, Zionism is bad, it's a dog whistle to say like all Jews in Israel are bad. And these people usually also think that it's that Jews shouldn't have the right to exist and that they should completely tear down the Israeli state in general, which would cause Jews to be open to oppression. Nobody has liked the Jews historically, unfortunately. Not Western countries, not Eastern countries. It's a revisionist history to talk about how everything was perfect in the Middle East and Jews were treated so perfectly the entire time. And then Israel came along and now everybody hates the Jews, but it's justifiable this time. That's the undertone of the conversation. That's what the point is here. That's what they're trying to communicate. People don't want to see that. That doesn't mean that everything that they're doing is okay. It doesn't mean that like being genocidal into Gaza is okay. It's not. But like, it's okay to be Jewish and it's okay to support a Jewish state. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
Understanding of ethnicities and Jewishness in this video. I just don't know a lot about it.
Yep, and that's probably why you shouldn't have made a video.
You know, it keeps going though. Ethan then says that he didn't know Hasan was a super leftist. How could you not know that Hasan is he did a show with Hasan for 61 episodes.
Did this guy claim to watch the H3 content nuke? Because in that content nuke, he explains everything. he shows a clip of Hasan saying that he, I think this is a direct quote, suppresses his power level to draw more people in to watch his stuff so he can like radicalize them. It's like, yeah, Hasan pretends to be more reasonable. Oh, I like healthcare, and like I'd like to make reasonable shifts towards more progressive policies. And then he kind of like, he doesn't believe in those things. He actually believes in like tearing down the Western world. So
I mean, I thought we were social democrats.
Like this is somebody who didn't support voting for Kamala Harris because she wasn't perfect on Palestine, and that is, of course, one of the reasons why Trump won. So,
Democrats, not whatever this was. This comment from Hasan really started to sound some alarms in my head. I was already getting uncomfortable with our partnership. I started to wonder if I had any idea who this guy actually is.
Only when they got to the topic of Israel did Ethan supposedly realize how leftist Hasan actually was, which...
It started before that. It started way before that. So, again, you don't really know what you're talking about. It started when... I think, again, one of the first times was when they were having a discussion about, China and like Uyghur Muslims being put into camps without media access. And like Hasan was downplaying that. It didn't just start with like one little silly thing like you're trying to claim it did.
I don't even know if that's what even that means. What does that even mean, dude?
You made how many episodes with Hasan? Like, this guy made a fucking program with the biggest mega leftist on the platform. Now he's acting like he was tricked and he was incapable of figuring out what this guy's beliefs were.
He did a content nuke and I didn't cover it because it's just crazy, dude. The final...
What's great? I'm so sorry. This is the biggest problem with your video then. You're telling me that Ethan made a content nuke, which I feel like you absolutely, if you're going to look at anything, needs to be the pretext to this. But you didn't watch that, but you're going to try to cover this? Does that, like, that's just, why? That just makes no sense to me. It's, okay, I don't know. That's uncomfortable. It seems like you're trying to play, you're trying to sit on the fence here a little bit, but you really do support Idubbbz more than anything else. Okay. Coward, but cool for you, man. That's great.
The final section of this video is when Ian highlights that around 2 years ago, Ethan was in controversy for laughing at Cutie Cinderella's live stream of her crying about people using her face to make AI porn, which is so fucked up.
So fucked up. It's a little fucked up. I don't think it warrants a meltdown on stream, to be honest with you. But you want to know? Like I can understand being a little uncomfortable, but I don't think it warrants a big stream meltdown. But you know what? I'm a boy, so I'm a boy and I'm starved. I'm a boy. And I'm starved for people to think I'm attractive. So.
Why?
Why? Oh, I'm dead.
What is going on with you?
Sorry, don't mind me.
Like, you were able?
I can't believe Zach did that all by himself.
Who are not selling themselves or benefiting off of being seen sexually.
I don't know, man. For me, you know what the biggest thing for me? I keep saying it. I don't know why I keep like explaining it, but like it really bothers me that it's okay to be upset, but to like turn on the stream and then have like this performative cry session. I don't know. It just bothers me. Like you could have been upset offline and then collected yourself, but it's like you wanted people to be upset for you. I don't know.
This got him into a ton of trouble as people online saw this as a very insensitive thing to do. So Ethan later posted an apology saying he was sorry for laughing.
Hello, everybody. I wanted to come here and discuss the situation with Cutie Cinderella. I didn't really have a good opportunity to discuss it on the podcast, and I did want to say something publicly about it. So forgive me for putting it on this channel. I'll probably also talk about it on Thursday and Friday, but I just want to kind of discuss it with you guys.
But then another YouTube channel called Psychology in Seattle ran by...
Yeah, this guy's a fucking pussy. I don't like this guy, to be honest with you. I think he's... there's something else off about him. I think he's a bad guy.
Psychologist, a guy named Kirk Honda, graded Ethan's apology for any signs of psychopathy and rated it an A+, meaning that he got the highest non-psychopathic grade.
I gotta give him an A+, right? Now, everything depends on Cutie Cinderella's reaction to this, but in terms of a public apology, this is A+.
Ethan couldn't go without the world knowing that he got a 10 out of 10 rating. So
yeah, Ethan when he makes jokes,
so he repeatedly flaunted it, which made him look psychopathic.
It made him look psychopathic. Ethan with a cringe run-on joke about how he got an A+ on his apology rating. Psychopath. Fucking psychopath. He's a fucking psychopath. It's not just cringe. He's a fucking psychopath. Incredible. Psychopath. Hey guys, why are people such bullies online? By the way, psychopath. This is the behavior. This constant sensationalization is why online harassment is happening. So for him to sit here and be like, yeah, harassment's pretty crazy online. Like, that's really weird. Like, I like to stay out of it. Oh, really? You are it. Just to be clear, you are it. You're just like a fence-sitting coward. That's it. That's all it is.
Despite of the non-psychopathic rating?
Psychopath! He's a psycho! Fuck,
Cinderella,
he's a
perfect score?
psychotic path.
A perfect 10 out of 10?
Perfect psychopath is rating.
How to make a good apology.
He's a psychopath. He's a psychopath. He's a fucking psychopath.
Right, 10 out of 10.
Poor Dr. Kirk, he spoke to Ethan yesterday and then private his videos on all socials. Yeah, listen, I can appreciate that. I don't know who this Dr. Honda guy is, so I don't have like the charitability going into it, but I just want to be very clear. The psychologist is a bad person from what I saw. That wasn't a video where he was misinformed about Ethan. That was a video where he went into it knowing CPS was called on his child, and then he downplayed it like it was a secondary event and went on this whole fucking tirade supporting Idubbbz' absolute lunatic fucking spiral out of control projection bullshit. Okay? The psychologist is not a good person. Ethan is too nice of a person. That's what it comes down to. Ethan is too nice of a person. He got rolled over by this doctor. He didn't actually watch the full video because he probably liked the guy, and he was like, hey, listen, let's have a private conversation. If you watch it, the shit is unhinged, in my opinion. The way that he basically, to some degree, diagnoses Ethan. He uses the word paranoia. He's a paranoid person, and then says he doesn't use the term lightly. Okay? While going here talking about his mental state and this and that and making all these reaching assumptions, and he goes on and on about how, like, oh, it's crazy, I had so much impact on Idubbbz' video. He's like 4 or 5 times, oh yeah, he's going on, he's masturbating himself in front of us. He's going on this whole fucking tirade. Get the fuck out of here. Maybe tirade is a bit disproportionate. He's going on this whole fucking rant about it. Like, the guy's not a good person from what I see. Ethan likes him, and that's totally fine. Very clearly, this doctor is kind of an asshole, and he's very, very worried about becoming successful online. So, you know, I don't have the same charity that Ethan has for him. You guys can like him if you want. From what I've seen of him, like, that wasn't just an oopsie mistake. Like, that was very intentional to me, from what I saw. It was too intentional. So, and yeah, the whole weird, like, bragging about beating up some kid when he was 13 was just strange, the way he talked about it. By the way, he doesn't even have his license revoked. I'm not saying that. People are saying that. I'm not saying that. I don't think it has to get that deep, but he's going on this whole thing where he's like, yeah, let me tell you this story about when I was a kid. I beat this guy up, and I needed. It's like weird. He shows us, like, from what I saw, it seemed like fake, where he commented his own comment on a video so that he could respond to it and put it into his video. It was so bizarre. It was very strange behavior. It was weird. I don't know what to tell you. So I don't particularly care for that person. You guys can like him all you want. I don't. I think that he's more. There's a little more deception there than people want to believe, and that's fine. You know, you all have our opinions, but
I know what a perfect apology is, lady. You fucking don't. Is my perfect apology in this PowerPoint? Dude, I got a perfect 10 out of 10.
This one is actually best apology, so.
Ethan Klein, you guys, oh my God.
Because of this, Ian wanted to try and make an impact on Ethan in ways
Psychopath.
other than just canceling him. So he went to Seattle and met up with Dr. Honda. Genius! And he tried to
It's a genius? It's genius to do that?
convince him to change his apology grading since Ethan clearly held it in such high regard.
Xander!
Yeah, and then when he couldn't do it, he had to change the whole ending of his video. Idubbbz went in there, like, hoping that Dr. Honda would just change it for him.
Xander! Probably get pretty low marks. Unlike me, perfect score, 10. I said, hey, Lud, no wig drama. Why are you such a spineless coward of a person now that you've inserted yourself and your girlfriend into this conversation?
Okay, Idubbbz, I hear you. You're in the room with me right now. I hear you. I hear your request. I understand it. I can understand where it's coming from. And I guess have a policy that when there is a grade for an apology, I am just grading that discrete apology as I see it without taking any consideration of prior or future behavior. If you're wanting me to comment on the overall behavior or the recent behavior from the clips that you have shown me, I believe that Ethan is a good person and that eventually he will feel sorrow and will feel sorry and will apologize. And I will be there to evaluate that apology when it happens, which I know it will.
Oh wow, that's so beautiful, bro.
Brother, this guy stinks! Ian said that he would personally grade him at a B-, which is not that much different than an A+.
Yeah, well, the whole joke there is that Idubbbz got a B+ on his thing. So.
Anyone can have their own official apology.
This whole video was made to try to knock Ethan down a peg, and it just did not work. What it actually did was, like, it showed us that people dislike Idubbbz so much that they're willing to give Ethan a try now. It's actually very funny. I think it's, like, fucking hilarious. Like, they dislike Idubbbz so much that now they're like, wait a minute, you know what, Ethan, maybe he's not so bad because they just like him so much.
Rating system, so I'm going to rate Ethan's apology a B-. That's just based on my own feelings and my own rubric.
And while the psychologist rating...
Shut up. I keep dying because first of all, I'm doing a Valkyrie, and second of all, I'm interacting with the video. I can never play as well. Shut up.
Didn't change. Ian wanted to make sure that some kind of...
yeah, every apology equals a free Palestine.
...impact was felt, and insists that while Ethan is deserving of all the criticism, he is also a human. And so he got Ethan's biggest haters to come together and say nice and admirable things about him instead of just sending hate.
I have challenged some of his...
Again, this wasn't supposed to be what happened. Idubbbz was such good friends with Dr. Honda that he was expecting him to change his score so that he could knock Ethan down a page. And that didn't work out for him. And so... then he had to change it to this performative fucking nonsense.
His most powerful haters to put down the haterade and just say something nice and charitable about him because I think he deserves it.
I just wanted to say that I respect that you are genuinely yourself on the internet. I think a lot.
This is the person, by the way. That you know, encouraged people, watched people defame Ethan, and basically signal boosted a CPS call to Ethan's house. So, yeah. Oh, you're such a nice person. Reasonability trolling. That's what this says.
A lot of other people respect you for it as well. I think that's a big reason why people were drawn to your content in the first place. I think that's a lot of the reason why.
I think you should change and talk about things that I want you to talk about the way I would like you to talk about them, actually.
Your employees chose to work with you over anyone else.
Ethan, I think it's respectable that you even began this journey to leave behind the anti-SJW crowd and step into a more empathetic world.
Ethan, I wish that I never even said this to you. That's what he said, by the way.
Ethan Klein, I think that when you are being goofy, when you're being silly, when you are being lighthearted.
Ethan, I think that when you're not talking about these things, it's better.
And just having fun with your friends. I think that is when you're at your best. So I'd love to see more of that.
I kind of like that. I kind of like everybody being real shitty and then just being real nice. You know, starting off with a Fortnite L and then ending with a big ups.
Okay.
Big ups, Chinese takeout. This is the part in the video where there is Ian crying, which, I don't know, that's an odd one for me. That's an odd one to me. It's like very in touch.
Well, you know what? At least that's one thing we can agree with when it comes to this video. Incredible.
Really hard to be a couple online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, like if you come to their defense, if that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them.
There's no way ever in a million years that a psychologist or therapist could get me to do anything but throw hands against them. All right, I would never open up. So very alien, very alien to me watching this, you know, because I'm such an incredibly masculine man. So yeah, the rest of the elements of the content cop were fairly similar to how they used to be. It was definitely a bit more punches pulled. It wasn't as mean as it used to be, but that thing at the end is definitely very different. That's very different. You know, everyone coming together and saying positive things about someone. That's kind of an interesting way to look at it.
This wasn't really a content cop. It started off as like a performative, like supposed content cop. But it was really just using the name to try to get like a signal boosted video out there. That's all it was.
Interesting way to do it. I'm excited to see H3's final response to all this stuff. The audience reception to this has been 50-50, nearly 50-50. People are excited to see Idubbbz swinging. A fucking lot of people hate H3 nowadays. Like everybody, a lot of people are kind of coming together on that. A lot of people.
Yeah, that seems like what you're doing too, bud. And this is the perfect representation of it because you're just dogpiling Ethan because it's convenient and easy, not because it's right. Cool beans.
Hate Idubbbz too. So yeah, the top comments seem to be pretty happy.
People hate these people. Yeah, that's pretty significant to me. I don't give a fuck who gets hated, dude.
With the video, you've got this one. Thank you, Idubbbz, for hosting our high school reunion in your comment section. This was really nice to see everyone again. Last content cop, I was an edgy middle schooler who didn't know what they wanted to do. I now work in corporate with no college experience. Time's flown by. That's just sad. It just sounds terrible. On Twitter, the response drastically different. People don't really like it at all.
You can shit equally on everybody in this video in a manner that is the same as this or more, and make a better nuke than whatever this is.
Idubbbz has been reduced to a Hasan Dingleberry, which is kind of funny. Yeah, it was certainly interesting. It was a tough watch. It was a really hard watch. It didn't seem like there was a lot of a point to it. I didn't really like it. To me, it seemed like this meme. Coughing baby versus
what?
Coughing baby.
You just like guzzled Idubbbz's cum the entire time, and now you're like, oh, actually, it wasn't that good. Actually, wasn't like what? This guy's a coward. What the fuck is happening?
I thought that was really funny. There's a lot of jokes. There's also some fair criticism. I don't know who a lot of people
like
were.
What are the fair criticisms though? Like, what's the fair criticism you think? What is that one?
In the comments before, but apparently Denim's. I don't know if this is true. I'm not gonna fact check it, but this seems like
incredible. Incredible. Hey guys, I'm gonna watch the Idubbbz video, and I'm gonna pretty much take all of it as fact, whatever Idubbbz says, and then any criticism though, I'm pretty much just not gonna fact check it. It's pretty cool, man. I love it. We love to see it.
Like
we love to see it.
Weird world. Brandon, my friend Brandon Buckingham, doesn't seem to like Idubbbz, maybe, or maybe.
Wow, maybe we should talk to him before making this fucking shithole pile of fucking dog shit.
Weird world. Brandon, my friend Brandon.
Oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful, by the way. This is beautiful, by the way, right here. There's one thing that's specifically said in here that matters. Says it was okay for people to call the CPS on political opponents to try and alienate them from their kids. Oh, we didn't want to read that one, guys. Not going to fact check. Hitting that, guys. Hitting that. Hey, guys. Epic silly video. Wow, incredible. This came into it. This is just fucking poop. This video sucks. I don't know what I'll tell you. But don't worry, he's married. He can do whatever he wants. I'm gonna shit my pants, actually. I'm gonna fucking shit all over myself. I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna literally eat my own shit.
I don't know if this is true. I'm not going to fact check it, but this seems like a really weird world. Brandon, my friend Brandon Buckingham,
I'm an alpha male, dude.
Doesn't seem to like Idubbbz, maybe, or maybe he does. I don't know. I don't know the.
I'm a masculine man, dude.
I was sitting beside him when he tweeted this. Though.
I'm wearing
I was sitting
an alpha
right beside Brandon when he tweeted this picture of Idubbbz crying.
I'm sorry, you were what?
I was sitting beside him when he tweeted this, though. I was sitting right beside Brandon when he tweeted this picture.
You were sitting beside him and you didn't be like, hey, why don't you like this guy?
Idubbbz crying. 25,000 likes. Holy fuck. And then Ethan found out that the content cop dropped while he was live, and he's just
how do you find out? Oh, how do you find that out? Like the word usage is also bad.
Screaming, what did I do to deserve this? What did I do to deserve this? Why? How did I deserve this? There's no shot of any of this video holding water. Then he circles back. It's
and he was right. It didn't.
Just bad, man. Ethan doubts any criticism. I'm excited to see his response to it.
Like,
no, you're not.
What? Why? What did I do to like fucking, like, what kind of fucking, like, bro, what kind of cowardly bullshit is this? Like, we have one disagreement where I get upset because you guys aren't defending me publicly after everything I've done to support you guys.
It's so interesting because if you catch that right there, Ethan doesn't explain the context. Like, the reason of the public defense is very important. He doesn't explain it because, unfortunately, you have to qualify everything you say every single time you talk.
And, like, you bring on...
Although he was not going to put it in his video anyway, so it doesn't matter.
People who are fucking denims and Frogan, who did a fucking anti-Semitic tier list, and you're platforming them and co-signing them. And by the way, to even make it even more crazy, Lena's fighting in your fight, bro. Like, what the fuck are you doing? I actually can't believe that he did this.
My overall opinion is that both of these people do not seem smart to me watching the video. Having watched what I do watch, I don't think they're bad people, to be honest. I'm not going to say that anybody's a bad person.
Again, why you're sitting here overly affirming everything Idubbbz says, and then you're like, yeah, but I think that they're both bad. Incredible.
They're a true piece of shit like Johnny Somali or Vitali. These people do not seem smart, though. I will be completely honest with you. These are not politically intelligent people, it seems. These are people.
Why? Based on what? Based on what? What makes you think that they're not politically intelligent? You don't know anything about the topics that you're talking about. So what makes you think that? What makes you think that? Okay. Because it's the proper thing to think without criticism. And he wasn't expecting to get blasted. Oompaville made this incredibly terrible video because he felt it was safe. And he didn't realize that the narrative is starting to shift and people are realizing that Ethan is actually correct. And so he deleted it and then he cried about it and made it seem like everybody else was a loser except for him. Okay.
People very in touch with their feelings from both sides.
How would you
wrong
touch
with that,
me,
I guess,
dude?
if you
My
want
balls.
to not approach things from a sort of a rational perspective.
Touch my balls, dude.
But what do I know? I'm also a very dumb person, but I wouldn't recommend anyone learn from any of this. Do not watch these people. Do not become like these people. You know, if
that's so incredible.
You think that Idubbbz is the same, he's the same guy who made all the content a long time ago, just now, and things have changed. Same guy, though. You can definitely become better, and you can definitely become a lot smarter, but still the same level of emotionality on a different wavelength. It seems like, and same thing with H3H3. It's just the same thing, but now he's not the underdog anymore. People suck, crazy. People are terrible, and they're lame, and you should go outside and read books.
What a coward. This guy's just a coward. What the fuck?
And, yeah.
Cool.
Take your vitamins and stuff.
Thanks,
and not worry too much about this shit.
Keep it up. Great job.
So anyways, thanks for watching.
I've shit in my pants.